have fun. Put it on your calendar because we tend to get so stuck in the hustle and, like you said, the hamster wheel of life that we forget to have fun.
Hey friend, welcome to the Ready to Rise podcast with your host, me, Audrey Rose. This is the podcast all about taking your life to the next level. Join me on my journey as I create a life that I'm obsessed to wake up for every day. I hope that you are ready to create a life that you really, really love. Are you ready to rise? I'm so glad we met at Jenna's event. It's so awesome. So many fun, amazing people that got to network and meet. And it was just I'm becoming like an event junkie right now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, it's just, there's something about the energy of the room, and it just leaves you feeling so inspired and uplifted. And it's like, I can do anything.
Yeah, I can do anything. And I have the sisterhood to pour into it, to help me, to help them. It's such a good feeling.
Right, exactly. Because it's for me, and I'm sure you can relate to this too. I worked in a career that became very draining for me for a
let's talk about that.
Time.
Yeah. I was actually just going to ask you, tell me how you got to where you are now, and it starts there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
What kind of career was that?
So I worked in physical therapy. So yeah.
And tell us more. So it got really draining. Did you get kind of like a burnout type of a drain, or just?
So, honestly, I didn't even realize that it was happening until it was the pandemic of all things. What healthcare worker takes a furlough during a pandemic? Well, guess what? Outpatient physical therapy.
Yeah.
So it was in pausing that I finally realized, what am I doing? I'm working 40 hours a week. I at that point, I don't even remember I think I was out of college about 14 years at that point.
Okay.
And I finally realized oh my gosh, this isn't serving me anymore. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I love empowering and educating my patients, but it got to the point where there were so many barriers in between our ability to provide the optimal care for our patients.
Yeah.
The heavy emphasis on numbers, productivity, volume, all of these external factors, it just wasn't aligned with my core values anymore.
Yep.
So it was in pausing and stepping back that I'm like, oh, wait, this isn't serving me anymore. So I started
feel good.
Right, exactly. So in doing that, I started business number 1, and then that evolved into business number 2. And now it's wow, I'm finally living life. I'm not waiting for one day. And just overcoming the guilt and the emotions around that, because you go to school, you have this guilt around leaving something that you worked so hard for. I mean, it's a lot of schooling, it's a lot of pressure, it was a very well-paying career. But it wasn't serving me. So it was crazy.
And knowing that it's okay to either pivot by trying to make it work for you in a different way, pivoting into a different type of role, or stepping away completely, doing what's best for you so that you're enjoying your life.
Exactly. And it wasn't just an overnight, all right, I'm going to totally walk away from this.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was, I went back finally after being off for about 3 months in a part-time capacity.
Okay.
So I was able to navigate running my business and working. I still had that little bit of secure income. So I was able to plan and save, and until it got to the point one day, I'm like, okay, this is it. Let's do it. So it's wild. And it's just crazy looking back on it. And it's honestly though, everything makes sense when you reflect back.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Just looking back on your life, it's okay, that's why that happened the way it did. This is the lesson that life is trying to teach me at this point in time. Because if it, number one, hadn't been for a pandemic to allow me the space to really reflect on what truly matters to me, I would have still just been going through the motions, because it's not like I was just miserable, but I just wasn't fulfilled. And then Two, just really, navigating all of it and building that first business, just taking messy action and doing the darn thing,
Yeah.
that was like, wow, I did that. It showed me proof that it was possible.
Yeah.
But then, doing the pivot and letting go of a very successful business
Right.
when I'm like, you know what? I love doing this, but it's actually that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
That really allowed me to like figure out what my purpose is. So
I love
yeah,
that
it's
because I
wild.
just spoke about that recently, like about
Mhm.
how following that bliss gets you to where you want to go. And
It
it's like you
does.
just pick up little by little on what it is that's
Yeah.
making you feel excited. It'll really bring you to where the universe or whoever you believe in,
Right.
where you want to go, like where you're meant to be.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
a beautiful process when you
Yeah.
just lean in and detach from the outcome.
Did you feel really guilty about, maybe not bringing in enough money for the family or like what kinds of things were running through your head as you left?
Yeah, absolutely. Money was definitely a
Yeah.
driving factor. Just, right, because the guilt of I'm not contributing enough, the
Yeah.
guilt of, it almost is deep rooted in fear, like the fear of
Uh-huh.
what happens if I'm not successful, what happens if
Right.
I fail. But in questioning that failure, it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, the only time you actually fail is if you stop trying. So,
Yes.
once you really start asking yourself, well, okay, so what?
Yeah.
So what? So
Yeah.
what? You realize, okay, well, I still have a license. So, I mean, worst case
Yes.
scenario, I go
I
work
can
PRN
work.
somewhere.
Yes.
It's not
I
a
love
big
that.
deal.
And I love what you mentioned too, again, about like with the security of doing part-time as you built your business. And I feel like
Exactly.
some people, I was talking recently to Lindsay Concher, I don't know if you know her, but she did social work around where I live and stuff. And we were just talking about how like some people go all in and can just quit their job, do all the things.
Yeah.
And some people kind of find a way to move back on one, move forward on the other.
Right.
And it's just really up to you, your personality, your risk taking personality
Right.
as well, and just going for it.
Right. And knowing what's going to feel best to you. Because if
Yeah.
I would have just gone
Yeah.
all in day one, I would have set myself up for
Freaky.
failure. Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
about myself. Because I mean, even in my career, I worked at the same place for 15 of the 16 years.
Wow.
So, going to the same facility for
Yeah.
15 years, I'm a little bit of a creature of habit. I don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
So, that really built up my risk tolerance, and I was
Yeah.
able to structure it in a way that I didn't feel the pressure, because there's a whole
Yeah.
nother set of pressures that come along with running a business. So
That's exactly, you just set me up for my next question. That's exactly what I was wondering is like, can we talk about that and how that can even lead to burnout? Because I'm starting a business. I'm starting like a retreat type business for healthcare workers, and it's so much. I'm like,
yeah,
oh my God, I'm trying to just write out everything I have to do in a day, basically, to try to start organizing it in my life. And I'm just like, I see how when you're starting out, unless you have the means, which most people don't, to hire everything out and really build a business right away like that, you're doing it all. And it's a lot.
yeah, it is. It really is. Because here's the thing, we don't quit our 9 to 5 to work 24/7. And that's what
Yes.
so many people are doing.
Yeah.
But when you can really be super clear on, okay, what are those needle moving tasks that I need to do?
Yeah.
So taking that big, crazy goal and really breaking it down into manageable chunks and knowing that, okay, this week I am working extra at my 9 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have the energy to pour into the
Yeah.
business. And just
So
knowing
good.
that, what, it's possible. It may just be a slower grow.
Hmm.
Just continue to stay consistent, because consistency is
Yeah.
key, because consistency is what creates momentum. Momentum is what creates results. Well, you
So
can't
good.
build it overnight.
Yeah.
It's especially when you're still navigating a 9 to 5. It's the same thing I
Right.
tell moms that I work with that,
Yeah.
have infants at home, and they're like, well, I want to start a business. I'm like, well, you can. It's just going to look a little bit different. It's
Yeah.
going to take time. And we love to compare ourselves with everybody that's
Yeah.
like, I'm an overnight
So good.
millionaire. I'm making 7 figures. Okay, like, wait a minute. We all started at ground zero, every
Yeah.
single person. Like you didn't just walk out one day being the queen bee of the universe.
Yeah.
No, we all started at
So cute.
zero. But being a beginner is a beautiful thing because it lets you play. It lets you try
Yeah.
different things without the pressure on you of
Yeah.
all these eyeballs and all this judgment, because the bigger you get, the more eyeballs are on you, and not everybody's nice. There's still mean
Right.
girls out there in the
So
world. There's
good.
internet trolls that just get such validation and fulfillment from tearing others down.
Yeah.
And I love the quote, hurt people hurt people. And
Yeah.
it's really learning to detach from that as a business owner and just trust your gut and go after your goals.
I love that. Play that back, everybody. Like that's key. Trust your gut, go after your goals, like just go for it. And I love what you mentioned. Like it might look different for you, like depending on what stage you're in your life, it's going to look different. Everybody has a different way. So don't burn yourself out by trying to do all the freaking things at once. What would
Exactly.
you, as a mompreneur and as somebody who, coaches many other people with starting businesses and doing all of this, what is like the first thing you would say to somebody starting a business? Like what's the first actual tool they should start using, or business related activity that they should start?
I would say really aligning yourself with the right people. You want to build a solid foundation. So that means getting a CPA in your corner that you
Ooh, love
can
that.
walk through and talk nitty-gritty details with, because
Yeah.
tax laws are always changing. I didn't go to school for that. I don't
Yeah.
have any interest in ever learning that. And
Yeah.
it's so complex. I mean, even my taxes, I'm like, here, I don't know what any of this is. Like,
Yeah.
here, you can have access to my QuickBooks. Like, you can do what you need to do. Like, I just want to stay in compliance,
Yeah.
because it's always changing. It's always evolving, and I can't keep it all straight. I don't have the mental
Right.
capacity for that. So that
Yeah.
investment right there is worth
That's
every
so
single
good.
penny. And then number two, like I really advise people to seek legal counsel. So
Okay.
whether that's just having somebody look over your terms and conditions, whether it's buying contract bundles online, just
Yeah.
having those making sure you're in compliance with the rules and regs. And I think part of that is because of my healthcare background that I preach that so often. But you can run your business without those things, but it's just that peace of mind knowing that,
Yeah.
okay, these are the rules, these are the regulations, and I'm
Yeah.
maintaining compliance, because you don't want to have to backtrack and set yourself up for stress down the road. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm a box checker, and I think that is, my medical
I
background.
love that. Yeah.
Documentation is, as you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
critical
Yeah.
in the day-to-day job. So I want to
Much.
make sure I'm running my business in a solid way. And it also sets the tone too for my clients. Like, no, this is a
Yeah.
professional agreement. Here are my
I like that.
boundaries. Here are my expectations.
Yeah.
Just being really upfront with that can prevent so much headache down the road. So those are my
So
two
good.
big things, making sure you're really set up legally and from a financial standpoint as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love what you just said too about it shows the clients what they can expect.
Right,
It's really, you're
exactly.
just laying that foundation right away.
Yeah.
What other tips would you have for a new business owner about preventing burnout? I know we've already kind of touched on this a little
Yeah.
bit, but if you could give like a solid, tangible, best possible tip.
Okay. So know your why. Why are you doing what you're doing?
So good.
Because there are going to be ups and downs. But
Yeah.
when you have a strong why, that reins you back in, that really reframes like, okay, I'm going to keep going because this is the impact I want to make. And your why doesn't matter to anyone else. Just
Yeah.
you knowing that and being
Yeah.
so clear on that is a game changer, because there's going to be times when you just want to burn your business to the ground.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that right there. And then just really being clear on your boundaries. Because I think, again, it's easy to constantly work 24/7
Uh-huh.
as a business owner. So just making sure you're allowing yourself some white space, because honestly,
Yeah.
it's in the white space, it's
Yeah.
in the slowing down that I come up with the
Yes.
best
Oh,
ideas. Because when you're
yes.
hustling 24/7, you can only keep up that pace for so long. And it's like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Like
Ooh,
when you're first
man.
starting a business, like stop chasing the shiny objects. Seriously, just focus on one. Focus on
So
one
good.
solution to one problem for one person and repeat over and over.
Yeah.
And that right there, it's not as complicated as we're making it out to be. Because if you're trying to do the events and the podcast and the
Yeah.
membership and the one-on-one and a group program, how can you, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
How can
I feel
you
exhausted
Right,
just listening.
exactly.
Yeah.
But if you can start with just one and
Yeah.
really get amazing at that one thing, and then guess what? You build from there and it
Yeah.
stacks beautifully and it grows as you grow and evolve. You don't need everything on day one. Most
So
of these
good.
really successful business owners that we're comparing our chapter 1 to their chapter
Right.
20, they
Right.
have a team helping them. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm even to the point in my business, I outsource so much. I have somebody
Yeah.
helping me. I'm not doing this all alone. And asking for help is a strength, not a sign of weakness. And that was something that took me a really long time to be okay
Yeah.
with, because I think we have it ingrained in us that, no, I need to be able to do it all myself. And,
Mhm.
especially as
Uh-huh.
moms, we get the mom
Yeah.
martyr complex
I
going. We're
bet.
like, okay,
Yeah.
like I have to be super mom. Like I
Yeah.
need to show that I can do it all and I'm awesome. Well, no, you're awesome, but you don't have to do it all. I mean, even asking your family for help. So many
Mhm.
times there's little tasks you can delegate to your kids. They can
Yeah.
help you with different things, even around the
Yeah.
house. If it's not in your business, you are not alone on this journey, and asking for help is a strength. It is a superpower.
So good. So good. Awesome tips on preventing burnout when starting out a business, or even when you have a business that's really
Right.
growing. I want to ask you one more thing before we head
Yeah.
towards wrapping up, but I would love for you to speak. I'm not a mom, and I know that there's so many listeners who are moms who are struggling, who have so much going on. If you could speak to them a little more about what you were just kind of starting to say, like asking them for help, like not having guilt about potentially asking the kids to clean up after themselves, or ask your husband to put his stuff away, or whatever. Could you speak a little bit more to that?
Yeah, I mean, mom guilt is such a real thing. When you're working, you're thinking you should be spending time with your kids. And when you're spending time with your kids, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to be
Yeah.
doing X, Y, and Z. But it's really finding that flow that works for you, knowing that there are going to be seasons that your business needs to take a
Yeah.
little bit of a backseat because you have
Yeah.
a lot going on with the kids, and vice versa. If I'm in a launch week, I'm not quite as present, but
Sure.
really planning and being intentional, because your time and energy are truly the two most valuable assets that you have, whether you're a mom or not.
Yeah.
You're really respecting that. And again, it goes back to your why. Once you know why you're doing it, the how becomes a lot easier. So just getting over the guilt. I really feel like it's the inner work that is so
Mm,
often overlooked. And knowing that,
yeah.
guess what? Guilt's going to be there. It's going to
Yeah.
happen. But because you are, I feel like because I'm a business owner, I'm a better mom. And because
Yeah.
I'm a mom,
Yeah.
I'm a better business owner, knowing that they feed into each other.
Yeah.
They don't have to exist separately. I can be a business owner and a mom. And I am showing my kids that it's okay to change your mind.
Yeah.
Just really detaching from the
So good.
societal expectations and knowing, like,
Mhm.
okay, I wasn't feeling fulfilled anymore. And it's
Yeah.
okay. I decided I was
Yeah.
going to change, and that's okay to do.
Yeah.
And not really requiring that validation from anyone else. And that's something else I really feel like as moms, as women,
Sure.
we're always
Yeah.
seeking external validation.
Yeah.
It's like we need that trophy saying, great job.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter. It comes from within. And when you take the time, do the inner work, you can have both. And it's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing.
Hey, you guys, it's that time where there's just a quick announcement. I'm super pumped that this burnout movement is seriously taking over. Like, you guys, we had so much fun in the previous Bliss Master class, and we have opened up the Master Course. It's super exciting. The Master Course is open right now. You can join. We are kicking things off. And that's all on Instagram or, helloaudreyrose.com, where you can get all those details. But I really want to let you know that I'm so excited to announce that we are having another virtual masterclass. And this one is all about honoring our bodies. We're slowing down. We're going to do a little sound bath. We are going to learn a lot about gut health. And it's just so exciting. This one is also going to be virtual. So if you just text HONOR to 707-347-0723. You're going to get on the list for that. And there's so much more going on. I am so excited for you, and be on the lookout. If you go to helloaudreyrose.com/events, you're going to be the first to know about all of the new courses coming up, the coaching we have coming out, and the best part, my favorite, the retreats. Woohoo! I'm so excited, you guys. Check it out. And as always, everything's going to be posted on my Instagram, which is @HelloAudreyRose. I feel like I can't even say anything after that, because that was just like mic drop. Like, that's all the things. Like, and I don't even have kids, but that like completely spoke to me. I mean, we can't do all the things like that. Got to ask for help. We've got to appreciate ourselves. Got to do that inner work so that we can feel more fulfilled on our own. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, running a business and working a 9 to 5, it's so parallel. It's so similar, just because I'm a mom with a business doesn't mean you can't have a 9 to 5 and a business, just like you're doing, and giving ourselves that permission to design a life that works for you. On your terms. That's what it's all about. Because we only get one shot, We
only get one shot. I don't know if you saw my story the other day, but like, this is what my new thing I'm going to be talking about forever. I had a patient who was dying, and he's like, calculate all the days I've been alive. And it was like over 36,000. At first I was like, whoa. And then I was like, whoa, that's not a lot of days. That is not a huge number for 100. I was just like mind blown that was so small. And create a life that we're obsessed to wake up for is like my thing. I'm like, we have to. There's obviously going to be days that are hard, days that we don't want to get out of bed. It happens. But day by day, like, we don't need to be on a hamster wheel of this life that's just so freaking like rinse and repeat, something that we're not interested in. So change it up. Why not?
I love that. I think that being in healthcare, it really lets us see that and makes us appreciate everything that we do take for granted. It's like, we're not guaranteed a retirement down the road that we're healthy and able to do the things that we want to do. So it's kind of sobering.
It is sobering. Can you tell everyone where to find you?
Sure. So I am super active over on Instagram @AmyTraugh. I also have the Motivated Mompreneur Podcast. So if you are interested in learning more about, just business and navigating life alongside it, we offer some great information there. And you can visit my website at themomsonamission.com.
Awesome. And if you could just leave the audience, you've obviously given us a ton of advice already, but if you could choose one self-love or self-care tip to leave us with, I would love to hear it.
Make sure to make the time to have fun. Put it on your calendar, because we tend to get so stuck in the hustle and, like you said, the hamster wheel of life that we forget to have fun. I remember there a few years back, I had a life coach and she goes, "What do you do for fun?" I'm like, I work.
When they're like, "What are your hobbies?" Well,
I don't know.
Jobby.
So, exactly. Make sure to make the time to have fun and enjoy the ride.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much. So much. It was so good to see your face.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for the opportunity. I truly appreciate this. This was awesome.
I'm so happy you got to make it to another amazing episode of the Ready to Rise podcast. Don't hesitate to share this with a friend that needs to hear it. Send it straight to their DMs. Take a screenshot, throw it up in your stories, tag me in it at @HelloAudreyRose. And don't forget, if you leave a written review on the iTunes app, that also helps people find it. So if it resonates with you, help others find it. And I can't wait to hear how much you loved this awesome episode. Have a blessed day.